Okay, so today we're taking a deep dive into the career of, well, I mean, a pretty much legendary figure, really, Quincy Jones.
Yeah, absolutely a legend.
And, you sent over some really interesting stuff outlining, like, potential podcast ideas all about Quincy Jones.
Yeah.
And it really got me thinking, like, everyone knows the name Quincy Jones, but when you really dig into all the things he's accomplished, it's it's really kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah, I think what's so amazing is just the sheer breadth of his journey.
Right.
Starting out as a trumpet player
Mm.
and then, going on to become this massive figure in the music industry, touching like almost every genre you can imagine.
Yeah, we're talking, like, jazz, obviously pop, film scores.
Yeah.
I mean, is there anything he hasn't done?
It's pretty hard to think of something, right?
Yeah. I was reading about his time arranging for Frank Sinatra.
Oh, wow.
Can you imagine the stories
Oh, the stories he must have.
he must have from that period?
Yeah.
And then to think, like, that was sort of one chapter, and then boom, producing Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Yeah, what a wild contrast.
What a shift. And actually, the source material we were looking at mentioned that he was kind of hesitant about even going into pop music at first.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he wasn't sure if it was the right move for him.
Huh. That's
I
interesting.
think it's fascinating, right?
Really?
Like to hear him talk about those decisions, those conversations.
Yeah, to get that kind of inside perspective from him or even from the people he collaborated with
Right, exactly.
would be just amazing to kind of chart the evolution of music over the last 60, 70 years.
I mean, yeah, through his eyes.
Yeah,
And the thing is, each of these projects, they're not just about the music. It's like they're these little time capsules of the culture at the time.
absolutely capturing those moments in history.
And the source material even mentioned, like, there's a YouTube biography out
Oh,
there,
cool.
which would be a great starting point to kind of, get a sense of his whole life story.
Definitely a good foundation to build on.
Yeah, yeah, totally. And speaking of his life story, it's amazing how much you can learn about someone just by diving into their music, right?
Oh, absolutely. The music is like a window into their soul.
And the source material actually talked about, dedicating entire episodes to specific works,
Oh, interesting.
which I think is a really cool idea. Like,
Yeah.
his jazz album, This Is How I Feel About Jazz.
Right.
That was such a pivotal moment for him, really solidified him as like a band leader, a
It was,
composer.
yeah, a statement album for sure.
Can you imagine like a whole episode just breaking down that album? Like all the harmonies, the improvisations.
Yeah, to really dissect it
Yeah,
and understand what makes it so special.
exactly. Or what about an episode about the score for The Color Purple?
Oh, that's a great one.
Which, I mean, that was something totally different for him.
Yeah, a big departure from his usual style.
But it was so impactful.
Yeah, it really added another layer to the film.
I remember watching that movie and just being like blown away by how the music just elevated the whole story.
Oh, yeah, the music and the emotion just intertwine perfectly.
Yeah, and this is where I think expert analysis would be so valuable for listeners.
Oh, totally.
Like, musicologists
Yeah.
could actually break down the composition to explain how he blended, jazz harmonies with orchestral arrangements in The Color Purple.
Right, to really unpack those musical choices.
Exactly. Or even how the score evoked the emotional weight of the story itself.
Yeah, I think that would give people such a deeper appreciation for the music.
Totally. And think about all the musicians he's influenced
Oh, wow. Yeah, the Lind is massive.
across so many genres.
I mean, you've got everyone from Herbie Hancock to Will Smith.
It's wild, right? Like,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. It's his legacy.
Exactly, showing how he's shaped the musical landscape for generations.
It's amazing to think about how he's touched so many different parts of the music world.
It really is.
And it makes you wonder, like, what is it about his music that allows it to connect with so many different people across, decades and genres?
Yeah, that's a great question. Like, what is the common thread there?
Yeah, because we're talking about jazz mastery, we're talking about his impact on pop film scores.
Mm-hmm.
Is there some kind of like secret sauce?
Right. What's the key ingredient?
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's his willingness to experiment, to blend genres, to never be afraid to try something new.
Yeah, that could be part of it, that constant evolution.
Or maybe it's about that focus on creating music that's emotionally resonant, regardless of the style.
Right, like it always comes from a place of genuine feeling.
That's a great point. Maybe that's really the key to his enduring appeal.
It's something to think about for sure.
It is. It is something to think about. For our listeners, though, who want to like actually experience Quincy Jones's brilliance firsthand,
Yes.
I would definitely recommend checking out albums like The Dude or Back on the Block.
Great choices. And don't forget the film scores.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
In the Heat of the Night is a personal favorite.
Yeah, great suggestion.
There's just so much to explore.
There's something for everyone.
Yeah.
Enjoy the listening.
Happy listening.